This is the world of company secretaries. On this channel, you can watch interviews with company secretaries across the world. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. The primary differences between being a part of a PCS firm, like the role will be more like a manager or an associate in that firm, to what you did at Subex, which is a listed company. How different were your roles? And since you had both the experience, it will be very interesting
So
to share.
yeah. So I think the application is the same. I mean, there is no really difference. The work is the same. You need to apply the law. You need to ensure that all the compliance requirements are met. So with that respect, everything is pretty much same. I wouldn't say there was much difference. I think it's just stakeholder management at the end of the day. When you're in a firm, you need to balance different type of stakeholders like your clients and maybe some of the government bodies that you liaise
Regulators.
with the regulatory authorities as well. In a corporate setup, it's different. Your stakeholders are like other departments within the organization. You're closer to the board of directors, so managing the board and yeah, pretty much your other colleagues and everything. So I think there's not much difference when it comes to the application of the law. It's more to do with the stakeholder management. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that also brings us to the point, like, how did you decide that you should start with a PCS firm and not directly dive into the corporate world? Of course, it's very
Yeah.
individualistic. Each one has a different perspective, but what
Yeah.
was yours?
So my intention was to get a good, vibrant, to have a vibrant work, uh, diverse assignments and things like that. And I thought that only a PCS firm would be able to offer that. So that was the whole thinking behind going for a PCS firm initially in my training days and everything. And that is true because a PCS firm deals with a wide range of assignments. I mean, you just can't imagine the kind of work
True.
one can expect in a PCS environment. And I thought at that point of time that corporate, working into a corporate immediately, maybe I would have just like one type of work and I would be stuck with that. But that was the thinking at that time, like when I was a student. So that was the reason why I chose to work with a
Exactly.
PCS firm to get hands on with as many type of assignments as I could. Yeah.
One is like you shared, there are different kinds of assignments, and also if you just see the sheer number of clients, you're
Yeah.
dealing with anywhere between 100 to 200 clients in any average
Absolutely.
PCS firm, and especially with a good PCS firm, sometimes it can be even more. And whether it is listed companies or you're working with law firms, you're working with CA firms, working with private entities, public unlisted companies, directors, there's a huge gamut of clients. So I think
Absolutely.
that's an interesting point. But while you were speaking, you also said that as a student, you felt that in the corporate, you'll be doing one kind of work. But now that you have been in the corporate for
Yeah.
like 6, 7 years or a little more than that,
Yeah.
how is that? I'm
So
sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
were wrong.
So I think once again, it's you can get a diverse type of work even in a corporate setup. Maybe that's something which I realized once I entered the corporate field. Uh, but once again, it's like it depends on the type of company that you have joined. Like if it is a company which is like, say for example, quite stable, they are well established,
Yeah.
and they are in that journey where they have a good strong hold in the market and they're doing well, then one would pretty much deal with the same matters maybe. But then if it is a company which is in the growth curve, and they are going through various type of transactions like mergers and amalgamations and other type of corporate restructuring, or like investments and things like that, then it's a little more exciting. I think you can get hands on with many other type of work like this. And of course, if it's a company which is on the course to get listed, then that's again a different thing as well. And something very good to get involved with. Learn a lot of learnings over there. So I think it depends. It's also on one's appetite. If one wants something which is challenging, they would like to join a company which is, where they are pretty much on the move and a lot of things are happening. Then you can really get nice, diverse type of work. Uh, it depends on one's appetite, but corporate can be exciting as well. Just to answer your question, Alok, corporate can be exciting. I think you just need to choose the right company which works for you, and the kind of assignments you think you can get your hands on.
Mhm.
You can have your hands full in corporate as well.
Yeah, so I think that brings me to the next question. Like,
Yeah.
how do the board of directors or the management treat company secretaries? What is the kind of respect they get? What do they expect from the CS? This is one thing which many
Yeah.
students don't know.
The expectation is very high from day one, and I think this is one of those very few courses which takes you very close to the board from day one.
Yeah.
uh, the expectation is really high because all the documents you are working on, like say for example the agenda papers for the board meetings or the shareholders meetings, the minutes of the meetings and various other documents have to be precise, have to be as per law, has to be properly drafted, because these the at the end of the day we are protecting the interests of the board of directors, we are protecting the interests of the company, we are protecting the company's reputation, so it has to be perfect. There's no scope to go wrong here, because consequences can be quite dire. And with Companies Act, I mean, with the new Companies Act 2013 as compared to 1956, the penalties are much higher for with respect to the offenses.
True.
One really has to, uh, you know, what do you say? Be responsible, be well read, and
Deliver on time.
deliver and do a good job like instantly upon joining. So
So
the
as you were
expectation is very
speaking,
high. Just to answer your question, yeah,
yeah, right. So as you were speaking, you said that this is one of the few professions where you're directly on your day one, you're very close to the board of
yeah,
directors or the management.
yeah.
In fact, it is almost like you're springboarded directly into the management from day
True,
one.
very true. Yeah.
So what is expected in terms of the board meetings and the AGM? What is your role and how challenging is it, especially since you've worked in listed companies?
Yeah, it is challenging because we typically have four minimum board meetings in a year, once every quarter. But of course, those are just the bare minimum. There are things which keeps coming up in between. So I think the most important thing is to ensure that your like agenda papers are sorted out and they are accurate and they capture everything which the board requires to consider and to resolve. Uh, Board don't have time, they just have a very limited period of time to discuss on matters. So the background of the matter which you need to prepare has to be sufficient for them to understand what is the matter which they need to approve and apprise them totally, and like help them to analyze and to approve or to disapprove. So a lot of thought goes into that. You need to really engage with your other departments within the organization, the finance team, the legal team, the business team, the commercial team. It depends on the industry that you're working in, but you need to coordinate with these guys, like understand the matter on hand, draft the background, draft the resolution as per the Companies Act, like as per the requirements of the Companies Act, table it before the board, and then also undertake the proceedings of the meetings of the board. So the board is pretty much dependent on the company secretary for the proceedings of the board, because it's the company secretary who would take
Know
the
the
board through the
procedures and
proceedings
convene.
and everything. Absolutely. So you need to really know the matter on hand, apprise the board, guide them through it, and ensures that whatever matter is there on hand, which is important for the company, the board finds it fit to approve it. So it's really a lot of work, effort, time which goes into this. But I think once you do it, it is you do feel satisfied that you've been in involved in a process which has brought to a certain decision and few things which has been approved. The company moves forward with that, and then you know that you're part of the process to keep the company moving forward.